Hello, my friends. Today is a very good day. We are going to be talking all about the history of this 1941 Lincoln Continental. And you know me, we're going to be diving into a little bit of the history of Lincoln and one of my favorite legendary automotive manufacturer icons, the Henry Leland. So, let's do it. Say thank you to family friend and mentor George Finley, who is the owner of this car, for always letting me make videos on his cars. Thank you, George. Now, also, let's say if you're not familiar with this channel, a little off balance over here. This is all classic car content. If that's your cup of tea, go ahead and press the subscribe button. Now, very easily, I could digress deeply into the majestic history that is Henry Leland, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it real succinct. Henry Leland, the man, the myth, the legend, the man that brought you two of America's most competitive luxury vehicle lines, Cadillac and Lincoln. Henry started his career in firearms manufacturing for Colt, engineering supplier for the manufacturer that would become Oldsmobile. And a favorite fact of mine is that he is the man that invented electric barber clippers. All right, so it's 1917, and this is after Henry Leland has already started Cadillac, founded Cadillac, and left Cadillac, which Cadillac was a result of a Henry Ford manufacturing company that went bankrupt, and Leland was sent over to liquidate, but instead of liquidating, he told the board of directors, let me just start a car manufacturing company that is Cadillac. Funny story too, though. I'm gonna have to digress for just 1 second. So I made a video on, where is it? Okay, there's a Cadillac Seville over here. And I wore this shiny shirt, right? That video did so well. And I mean, the Cadillac Seville is cool, but it's not the coolest car video I've ever made, right? That video is popping, and I'm wondering if it's this shiny shirt. Maybe this is my new uniform. I just wear shiny shirts the whole time. Like I said, it's very easy for me to digress. Okay. Where was I? All right, 1917, Henry Leland has already left Cadillac. That's a story in itself. But his son and him win a $10 million contract from the government to create Lincoln Motor Company, which is going to produce Liberty aircraft engine. Now, where did the name Lincoln come from for the Lincoln Motor Company, you might be asking? Well, it was named after President Abraham Lincoln, which was the first president that Henry Leland, founder of Cadillac and Lincoln, got to vote for. So, pretty cool. Okay, so I have one more little historical tidbit about Henry Leland and Lincoln Motor Company, and then we're going to move on to talk all about the Continental right behind me. And that little bitty tidbit is the fact that Henry Leland was one of the first to introduce interchangeable parts in automotive manufacturing, which kind of a big deal. Now, you know me, I'm just going to keep yabbering on. But first, before I dive too much into the Continental, let's take a look around this 1941 Lincoln Continental Coupe. Now, what is the Continental, you might be asking? Well, it is always going to remind me of that epic Christopher Walken SNL skit. What it is a series of mid-size and full-size luxury vehicles produced under Lincoln, which is a division of American auto manufacturer Ford Motor Company. And you might be asking, well, how did Lincoln go from Leland to Ford? Well, you can watch this video at some point in time, and I'll tell you all about it. I really do try to keep these videos less than 10 minutes for your sanity and for mine, but it is so easy for me to digress about automotive history. Now, let's talk about the birth of the Continental, right? The Continental was inspired by Edsel Ford's European travels, and the first Continental prototype was designed by E.T., aka Bob Gregory. And it was heavily influenced by the Lincoln Zephyr. And if you know what that looks like, well, then you know that if that's your influence, then you are probably already going to be aesthetically pleasing. Now, also, the design of the first Continental was a little bit rushed. It is said that the initial design sketch took 1 hour. Why, you might be asking, was there such a rush? Well, Edsel Ford, the boss, wanted the prototype done and ready for him to drive by the time he went on vacation so he could show it off. And I'm not even kidding about a fast turnaround. That car was ready in 6 months. All right, so 1940 is the first year that the Continental is introduced. And as I like to do, let's paint a little picture of the times, all right? 1940, so we are deep in war with Nazi Germany, all right? The Nazis are just going to start their blitzkrieg soon, and that takes out a lot of beloved European car manufacturers. First, Captain America comic book is published. Hattie McDaniel is the first African-American woman to win an Academy Award for her role in Gone with the Wind, which is one of my favorite books and a favorite movie. Franklin D. Roosevelt wins the presidential election, making him the first third-term president of the United States. And very importantly, this is the year of Chuck Norris's birth. 404 of these elite cars were built in the first year. All of those 404 examples were hand-hammered body panels. And after that year, dies for machine pressing would be constructed. Now, what happens if you run out of space in your trunk to store your spare tire? Well, you make a statement, of course. And that is how we got the signature rear-mounted Continental spare tire. Fun fact. In 1951, the New York Museum of Modern Art recognized the Lincoln Continental as an example of excellence in works of art. Of the 1941 model year production, only 200 are still in existence. Now, what's powering this first generation beauty is a L-head V12 capable of 120 horsepower with a 3-speed manual transmission. It's real pretty, so let's just go ahead and take a closer look at it. Lincoln produced 10 generations of the Continental in 55 years until retiring in 2002. I would say they had a pretty good run. What do you think? What's your favorite generation Lincoln? Continental. What's your favorite Lincoln? What do you think was your favorite car produced under Edsel's run? So it's really interesting to think about if Edsel Ford had not passed away untimely due to stomach cancer and had stayed with Ford, and where would Ford be right now? What other cars would he have created? Because Henry Ford was the processes guy. Edsel was kind of the dreamer, designer, the artist. And he's also not. There's a list of famous car manufacturers whose sons passed away too early. Alfredo Dino Ferrari, Jean Bugatti, and then Edsel. And it's so interesting to think what different vehicles we would have seen out of these automotive manufacturers if their sons did not pass away untimely. Okay, that got a little sad. Now, if you like classic car content, don't forget to subscribe. And at this point in time, it's time for us to say goodbye. Bye.